Hey everybody, thank you for coming back for another day of Cranio Family Vlogs. Every day in the month of September we are talking about something involving craniosynostosis and answering questions to open the window of the life that is a life with craniosynostosis to all of you. Now, we had a video yesterday. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the video where we talk about the scariest moment about a cranio surgery as a parent, stop what you're doing right now, go to our channel and watch that video. It's fine. I can wait. I really don't mind. You can come back and pick up right where you left off with this video as soon as you get done with that one, because there's something about today's video that is being pulled from that video. So seriously, I'll wait. I'll just sit here. I'll be right here when you get back. Did you go yet? Have you watched it? Did you give it a thumbs up? Because it was a pretty cool topic. Okay, so now that you've watched that video, here's where we are today. Katie mentioned the fact that there is the pre-op room, and that room is a sacred and hallowed place for our family. We really don't like anybody else being back there. That's just how we roll as a family. We've incorporated David as he was born, and for the next surgery that Zoe has, Jacob will be there as well. It's a chance for us just to take a few moments and talk about and act like there's really nothing wrong, but just shower love upon Zoe. But there was one of these surgeries that was a little bit more heart-wrenching for me as a dad. And there were some moments that I needed to capture. And I love to write. I love to use alliteration. I love to take the readers, you guys, of our blog, and I want to pull you into the moment. I want you to see it through my eyes. I want you to feel my heart stop beating. I want you to see that I'm not breathing and see what I see. And I wrote this piece that's probably one of my most favorite pieces that I've ever written, and it's called This Room. And when we were preparing for this project, I reached out to the Dad Bloggers group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and it's a huge community of dads that are there to support each other and hash out ideas and just kind of be there for each other. And I asked a huge favor of one of the friends that I have from this group named David Stanley. Now, for those of you who don't know, David Stanley is a voice actor. He does voiceovers for radio commercials. He also does audiobooks. And he has a very fantastic voice. And I just love listening to him speak. And I asked him a huge favor, and that was to see if he could read this room for me. I've tried to read this room in speeches and in platforms and even at Dad 2.0, and I cannot stop the tears from coming to my face and starting to choke and feeling my heart rate just start pounding. And that's so unlike me as a person. For those of you that know me personally, I love speaking. I love standing in front of people and talking. But this piece just drives me right back to that very moment. And I asked him to read this room, and he gave it a read, and he got back to me on it. He asked me a few questions, and then he sent me what you're going to hear. And it is exactly what I have always wanted for this piece. It's a voice that isn't mine, that walks you through it, that pulls you in. And so for today's video, you're going to see a video and picture montage overlying the most amazing voice of David Stanley as he reads my favorite piece called This Room. And that's about being in pre-surgery and what it's like as a dad as your daughter gets ready to go. So sit tight, relax. Don't forget to give this video a huge like and a thumbs up. Check the description down below for a link to David Stanley's website to see more of his work. And like and subscribe. I'm not going to have a closing at the end of the video because it does its own due diligence. So with that, Katie and I will be back tomorrow for another video. See you next time.
This is one of the hardest parts of being a Cranio dad. This room, this 14 by 14 prison cell of emotion that is called a surgical prep room, is in the forefront of oh so many nightmares that I have had since my daughter's birth. As a Cranio dad, I find myself all too familiar with rooms like this. Though the rooms may change, all that is entailed with it does not. After all of the prep, the crying the night before, the early morning trip to the hospital, The hustle and bustle as all of the doctors and nurses prepared for what was to come. Even the goodbye hugs and kisses. This room is the hardest part. There is a sudden, unwelcome stillness that enters the room. Your body feels the way the sound echoes off the walls as it surrounds you. Where there is a sudden wave of calmness, your mind will not allow it to enrobe you. There is the sound of your soul screaming for the world to shut up as the silence becomes all too loud and raw. You can hear the sound of your heart shattering under the weight of it all. Your stomach tightens, and you try to catch your breath as your body shudders. Your eyes, fixed in a desperate stare, look where the crib was, and the moments before this instant play back like an aged cellophane movie. Just moments ago, your whole life sat in a brightly colored cage of a crib. With utter heartbreaking innocence she played, laughed, blew you kisses, and nuzzled your face as she tiredly uttered, "Da-da." Heartbeat after heartbeat, you relive those moments, fighting the brutal differences your senses are telling you exist now in this room. Then, once your heart cannot take any more, the moment disappears, like the ending of a movie. The constant flux of transition between the memory and reality in a bitter battle to the death, as the wages of this war take toll on your reason. Then, in a flash, it is all gone. Wave after wave of pain, fear, and stress untie from your overwhelmed heart, mind, body, and soul. You feel as though you could crumble onto the floor like some miswritten, discarded note. The unearthly sound undulating from your throat as your soul and body cry out, yet it is muffled by the tears pouring forth. Your new, strange sound has been added to the echo. You search all of your being for some substance, something, to allow you to make it through endless, time-consuming, relentless ticks of the clock that is not in the room. No tick, 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 expressing the seconds that are passing, time that seems empty without that small little part of you, that part that is most of who you are. Then, like the floodgates bursting, you cannot contain it anymore, and the sound your throat has been straining to hold back ruptures past your dry mouth, and your scream that you only heard in your head launches into the silent room. You collapse into a chair, weakened by the emotions racking your body. You find yourself there, in that moment, for what seems like an eternity. However, over time, you wipe your face, discarding the tissue. That tissue, taking your place in that room, discarded on the floor. You stand, not sure if your legs will hold you, knowing that all too soon you must muster all you have to go out to yet another room. A room filled with many other parents experiencing some version of this fresh hell you find yourself in. You find strength in the part of you that left that room what felt like forever ago. You cry a little bit more, because that is not how it is supposed to be. After a while, you raise your head and leave, uttering a prayer that all will be okay, hoping that before you know it, this surgery will be complete, that you will again have a room filled with laughter, blowing kisses, hugs, and a sweet little face nuzzled against yours, uttering the sweetest words you will ever hear. Da-da. I am a Cranio Dad. I am scared out of my mind.